Story 1. For me, I don't have a favorite in most things. People ask that a lot. What's your favorite? Whether it is music, meal, movie, or whatever. I don't have a hierarchical list of my favorites in order for anything. I don't think that way. I like variety, but it seems like I am the odd one out because people ask for a favorite a lot. I just say, one of my favorites. But my real answer is that I don't have a favorite. I have categories of things. Maybe top choices, second choices, and mediocre choices. Like I can tell you my very top favorite types of food, but not one single favorite meal, one single favorite designer, and so on. Story 2. Did you hear about Celebrity A and what they did to Celebrity B? No, and I do not care in the slightest. Story 3. Anything to do with global conflict in the Middle East is highly contentious. If you support one side, you are immediately labeled as a racist. If you support the other side, you are immediately labeled as a racist in a different way. I do not know what I am supposed to think at this point, and it seems like the only correct opinion to have is to say, I do not know enough about the conflict to have an informed opinion. Even still, people will hate you for not having an opinion, as it seems like everyone expects you to pick a side, even if you genuinely want to remain neutral about the whole situation. Story 4. Never label myself as an early bird. I am perpetually a night owl. I will refuse to get up before 10 a.m. on a weekend. I stay up until midnight and sleep until noon. That's life. Story 5. Politics. I have never once felt like I align well with any of the several major parties in my country. It is not that I have niche views or that I am alternative anything extremist. It is that every party is moving in that direction, and I feel like I am politically homeless in the dead center, with everyone around me running further and further away. Story 6. Vegan. I do like to eat healthy and vegan as much as possible, but sometimes I just need a fried chicken sandwich or a soft serve ice cream. Story 7. Queer. There is a lot of pressure in the gender and sexual minority community to accept queer as a catch-all term, but I just will not do it. I love and support people who choose to identify as queer and find strength in it, but for myself, I still think of it as a vile and offensive word. Story 8. Political. I am a firm believer in personal responsibility and being socially conscious, but nothing divides us along more arbitrary lines like politics. Story 9. Never been too much of a believer in labeling my sexuality. If we get along and I like you, then that is that. There is a lot of hate on social media when it comes to bisexual, pansexual, and asexual identities lately, and I do not need to feel any more not normal by people in the community. For those who want to be included, they exclude a lot. Story 10. Cisgender. No hate to transgender individuals or the LGBTQ community. I do not care about anything they do, but I am going to consider myself a man, and that's it. Story 11. Fascism or communism. I am not a fan of either. They both have a tendency to take freedom away, persecute minorities, be undemocratic, and be intolerant of criticism. Story 12. Religion. There are people who would say I am an agnostic theist, but I truly do not want or care if my beliefs have a label. My belief is my own, and in a land of devout believers, I do not plan to discuss it further. Story 13. Left versus right. Politics are way too complicated to be divided into two sides. It is just more tribalism and the same sentiment coming from both sides. Story 14. It is the culmination of literally every single negative aspect of the human condition. Racist, misogynistic, ignorant, uneducated, and deplorable. I do not really care who they are at this point. They never have or will ever listen to reason or attempt to see things from any other perspective than their own. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, and they undermined everything good people stand for and continue to do so. I continually witness them celebrate as the world around them burns. They are also associated with extreme ideologies, so check that box too. Literally the worst human beings in existence. Utterly ignorant, spineless, pathetic excuses for consciousness. Story 15. The whole left or right thing politically. I believe what I believe, and I will let people call me what they want. I am not going to fit my political beliefs into a label that I have given myself. Story 16. I won't pick sides over conflicts that happen abroad that I have no information about. especially if they are extremely divisive in nature and if both sides have their own faults in the situation. That's just asking for trouble. To me, if you get innocent and peaceful people involved and hurt, you are not good, no matter which side. Another concern is extremists of any kind, even if it is supposed to be about supporting something positive. I don't know, humans always manage to ruin just about anything they try to raise awareness about. For these issues, I will support the idea, but I won't support much of the people involved, which gets me condemned if people hear that opinion from me. I guess I don't get involved in anything on a large scale and will show support on a more individualized basis, if that makes any sense. For some topics, as a general idea and opinion, yes, just not the actions of the people involved. It is a messy comment to write and probably controversial, but oh well, that's just my views about things. Story 17, My Sexuality. I do not think I am straight by any means, but I will not say I am bisexual or pansexual either. Queer might be the closest. Story 18, Politics. I do not like any of them. Additionally, nobody is going to force me to support something that I do not feel completely confident about. Story 19. In the debate of Bermuda grass versus St. Augustine grass, I think both sides need to settle down and talk it out and not get so violent in their rivalry. Both raise good points, but honestly, I do not care. You are both right and wrong. Story 20. Something I will never pick a side on is subjective debates like pineapple on pizza or the best music genre. These are personal preferences, and I would rather enjoy the diversity of opinions without taking a firm stance. Story 21. MAFA. No, liberal or conservative. 90% of America doesn't know what those two things mean. Story 22. I do not have a favorite food. It changes depending on my mood. If I had to choose a last meal, I would want to decide on the day. Story 23. Anything sports related. I have never cared. I do not care, and I will not care. The only times I have ever been to any games was when my siblings played in high school. I only went to support them. I could not care less about the game. Story 24. My favorite book. Books are like children. You can love more than one, as they are each special and unique. Story 25. Never will I ever put a label on my political ideology. It just keeps you boxed in like these wealthy politicians want you to be. Forget that. Story 26. A member or believer in any religion. Not that I don't believe or that I only accept fringe religions, I just think you should not devote yourself to an organized religion but instead to a God. The organization breeds politics and dilutes the message. I don't think God wants me to be Christian or Muslim or Jewish. God just wants me to do good as an individual, and anything else clouds the faith. Even the good things organized religion does, like, let's say, a food drive, should be done because the community genuinely cares for the poor and chooses to help, not because their religion tells them to. I don't want to be good because it's what some book says to do. I want to be good because I am good. Story 27. Dogs versus cats. I love them both, and I do not think it is fair the way they are pitted against each other more than other kinds of pets. They are different animals with different needs. Story 28. There are two sides to the ice cream world: chocolate and vanilla. Some people pledge their loyalty to the rich, indulgent embrace of chocolate, while others find comfort in the simple, smooth elegance of vanilla. And then there's me. I've been on Team Chocolate since conception. Literally. If there were a genetic marker for chocolate preference, I'd have it. Chocolate isn't just a flavor. It's a way of life. It's deep, complex, and full of surprises, kind of like a good mystery novel, except you get to eat it. Vanilla, on the other hand, is like that one polite coworker who always asks how your weekend was but never reveals anything about their own. Safe, predictable, and, let's be honest, a little boring. It's the default, the I don't know what to order option, the flavor equivalent of elevator music. But chocolate is the main event. It's dramatic, it's passionate, it has layers. I could never choose vanilla over chocolate because chocolate has personality. It's the taste of celebrations, late-night cravings, and desserts that make you close your eyes and say, wow. Meanwhile, vanilla is just there. It's fine, it's agreeable, but it lacks the spark, the flair, the soul that chocolate brings to the table. From the moment I came into existence, chocolate has been my destiny. It's not just a preference. It's a core part of who I am. And while some may argue that vanilla is classic or versatile, I stand by my truth. Chocolate is and always will be the superior choice. There was never a decision to be made. Chocolate chose me, and I have proudly chosen it right back. Story 29. As someone who is demisexual, I am not a part of and do not associate with the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community. I have tried in the past, and all I find is toxic people. For example, I once joined a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Discord server. It had over 6,000 people in it, but only 6 people were active. If you said anything remotely outside of their narrative, even something like, "Help this child with cancer," they would try to bully you. No moderators or superiors were ever active. It was so bad that even though I had been there for a week, my moderator application was approved by the owner, which was odd. I left shortly after as I realized I did not want to deal with the negativity anymore. This is just one of countless examples. Anyone with a pride flag I avoid, as 99% of the time they are either horrible people or just pretend to be nice but act horrid behind the scenes. Story 30. Politics. People who pick a team for life are the least informed individuals on earth. If you are a lifelong voter of a single party, then you are not thinking for yourself. Think through issues independently while considering all of the information, and it is going to become almost impossible to stray very far from the center. Story 31. Ideologies in general. It tends to be that the Dunning-Kruger effect is in full swing when it comes to religion, politics, and just about any other form of ideology. The ideologues always know very little, or they only know their ideology and nothing else. Generally speaking, if you are ideological in any way, you are on my avoid list. I do this simply because I prefer to interact with real, thinking human beings rather than mouthpieces with pre-programmed thoughts. If you are an ideologue, you are only robbing yourself of your humanity, individuality, and ability to think critically. Story 32. I think I would stay away from labeling myself with anything too rigid, like being either totally optimistic or pessimistic. Life is too complex for just one label. Story 33. Hot take. Republican or Democrat? For context, I am not from the United States. I think it's absurd to name political parties after features that pertain to every party in that country, instead of the actual political ideology behind them like in most other countries. Unless you vote for a pro-monarchy party, you will inevitably be in a republic voting for a Republican Party. And as long as you are able to freely cast your vote to appoint your political leaders, you are participating in democracy. As long as you are not voting for a party that will establish an absolute monarchy or dictatorship, thus ending the democratic voting process, you will be voting for a Democratic Party. What's next? The Human Party versus the Sentient Beings Party. Story 34. American politics. I was raised as a right-wing individual but have since learned that the right has just as many problems as the left. Story 35. Political parties. I vote based on what I feel we need at the moment. We needed neither this last election. Story 36. Crunchy versus soft Cheetos. They each have their own vibe. It just depends on which one I am feeling at the moment. Story 37. U.S. politics. I don't live there and don't intend to go there, yet for some reason Americans get angry at me for not caring about local policies and going silent when they start ranting about police and social issues there. Story 38. Because can we stop labeling everything and just actually get to know people as people, not for what some internet test told them they are? Story 39. Gun control. This is one of the very few topics where both sides have decent points, and my position on the subject is usually swayed depending on the last person I hear. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.